Hey everyone, I'm Rachel,
And I'm Jen, and welcome to Devilish Bookworms, the podcast.
where we read and review books and release episodes every Tuesday.
This week we have The Cackling of the Crows by Neal Sellers. Q is a young Black man living in New York in 1980s and 1990s. Influenced by the streets and his love for hip hop and culture, Q shares a glimpse of his relationships with different women in his life to you, the reader. In this story, betrayal is discovered, friendships are tested, and karma is out to get everyone it can. Will they be able to stomach the consequences when it does? Will you? Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun.
So, Rachel, what did you think of this book?
This book was so different from anything else that we've ever read, and so different from anything else that I've read myself. Um, the author, Neal Sellers, even says it. He breaks the fourth wall so often. And so, like, he says it right up front, like, you're going to have to completely, if you're going to enjoy this book, you're going to have to completely dissolve all preconceived notions of, what a book should be, how storytelling should be, and kind of rebuild it from the ground up here. And he kind of uses that breaking of the fourth wall a lot. Um, so like on page 40, he wrote, "I know you're still trying to figure out my writing style, aren't you?" And that's very indicative of like the whole book pretty much. So like the main character's name is Q, and he's talking directly to the camera, or like directly to the reader, the whole time. And so it was very much an artistic choice, and it was kind of cool to read it, because it's kind of cool to see different ways that you can make art. I will say that it did tend to kind of take me out of the story a couple times. It was kind of
Mhm.
hard to like focus
Focus.
sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. I do appreciate that breaking away from the norm, you know.
So, one of the ways that I actually described the book while someone was asking me, "Oh, what are you reading?" It literally sometimes reads as a rap. So
Mhm.
literally as like a musical book. So sometimes he is literally singing or rapping at you. And there's quite a lot of moments of this. So it does take a lot to get used to it. Um, I wasn't able to really get used to it, and I had a real difficult time trying to resonate with the book. But that's just me. One of my biggest issues with the book was the fact in the very beginning, Q calls out the readers and basically calls them stupid. And I was kind of taken back a little bit because I'm not stupid. So in the beginning, it was a whole thing of psychiatrists and psychologists knowing the difference. And he's like, why don't you go look up the definition of each one, because you probably don't know what it is. And then he, on the next page, he ends up putting the definition, and he's like, I knew you wouldn't look it up, so this is I put it here so you could learn something. I have an issue with that because of the fact that I am not stupid. Like I said, I'm an intelligent human being, and the fact that this person that doesn't know me is assuming that I'm stupid kind of pissed me off. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah. Yeah, Q was very much at times very condescending.
Yes, very much so. My thing is, like, having an opinion of a reader is fine, but to basically assume that your reader is not intelligent, just kind of, it's not a good vibe. It doesn't really settle with me very well, because it's like you can't make an assumption about the whole of a population or a whole group of readers, because not everybody's the same. So not everybody might, they might not have the same intelligence level, but that doesn't mean that they aren't intelligent. So
Right.
that's all. Yeah.
So I believe the line that's right after that psychologist, psychiatrist bit is the line that says, "That's the problem today. All this knowledge out there, and everybody's too lazy to grab it." And like, I see where you're like, I see where that line's coming from. I genuinely do. Um, and I know a lot of people that do feel that way as well. I don't really resonate with it because it's kind of like very glass half empty, just assuming that everyone's just too dumb and lazy to figure stuff out, when in reality, like, there's a lot of people that are, figuring stuff out. Um, like it was a good line, but it was just kind of like,
And that's why I brought that part up, because of the fact that I do believe intellectual stimulation is absolutely necessary. I believe that people should want to learn and should actually go a little bit above and beyond and try to learn something new all the time. Like, don't just waste knowledge. There's so much knowledge out there. Try to gain as much as you can. Like, I fully agree with that. But he says in here, so your lazy asses still benefited because I thought about you. But in the long run, if you don't join the bandwagon, you're just going to lose out.
yeah. Yeah, that whole bit was kind of rough because it's kind of like superiority complex. Like, don't worry, I've got you. Like, I was thinking about you. Awesome. Like, you know, Q is not a likable character for me.
I have a tough time with characters like this because of the fact that I lived with someone like this for years, always telling me I wasn't smart enough. I'd never be anything without him. I'd never do anything to amount to anything. I couldn't think without him. And for a book to be telling me you're lazy, you're stupid, I've got real issues with that. Because you're bringing me right back into that.
Right. You can't disassociate yourself from the character. Like, if Q was saying it to Winnie or saying it to one of the other characters, it would be like, oh, this is him saying it to her. And yes, it's still gross, but it's not me. But with the character
Yes.
specifically talking to the audience through, like, narrating the book to the audience, it's hard to take yourself out of that situation.
Right. And with being in the situation, I don't want to repeat that. I've History is meant to learn from, and I'm not repeating my history. So I got real defensive real quick. Even if it's just a book, I got defensive.
It brought up some things.
Oh, I was about to start swinging at the book. What you call me?
I show you lazy.
I'm far from lazy. That's the fucking worst bit.
That is 100% true.
There was a part, the prologue too. Um, it says they know something I don't, and they revel in the knowledge that I can't decipher their language. I've missed the signs even when I expect the unexpected. The future remains a mystery to me. The past remains a mystery to me. The present remains a mystery to me. They used to caw, they just cackle now. The cackling of the crows. I love that he was looking for the knowledge and still couldn't get it, because it kind of gave me that like little bit of, ha, there you go. Now you're stupid.
Ah.
I'm sorry for that, but it's just like, after reading that and remembering that prologue, I was like, yeah, now look who's stupid. Look who's lazy. You didn't learn the language. That's on you. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. So in the book, the crows actually symbolize like the important bits. And the author does say too, or Q does say, that you have to work for the symbolism. Like you have to kind of decipher things. It's not going to be easy to figure out the story. Um, and so there are a lot of different lessons, different symbolisms in there. Um, and you could always tell like when there was a very important bit coming up because that's when the crows would come in. Not that you needed that cue, but like cue. But like it was but yeah. The reason why I wanted to read this book was because first of all, The Cackling of the Crows is a fantastic name. It is fantastic. And then like so I we had the submissions and I was going through and then I read or I wanted to look up the book because of the name. And so I see this cover and it's this white cover and Neal Sellers is sitting like in the chair and it's like this big beautiful chair and there's like crows around him and then like slashes and I needed to read it. It just I don't know, it just caught me.
The cover is really cool. And actually, when Neal sent us the books, he sent us hardcovers, which was actually really, 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 really nice.
I
But he
know.
included some stickers and some bookmarks and a little note, and he signed it for us, which honestly, we were never expecting that. Like, we never expect an author to actually send us a physical copy of a book, never mind anything else with it. So it was really unexpected, but really nice.
Yeah, 100%. So to get a little bit into the story. So when we begin the story, the main character Q is introducing himself, but he's also talking to his first girlfriend. Well, I don't know if she's his first girlfriend, but like the first girlfriend we're introduced to. And she's asking him not to go away to college. And like that I'm glad that he put that in the book because it's such a normal thing for people to do, like, oh no, like please don't leave me, please don't go away to college, or oh no, please don't get that job. I'm too scared to have you work there, or like, oh I don't want you to do this. It's not like the right time, or whatever the case may be. And the only thing that I can say to that is like he does end up going to college. And I'm so glad that he does because of the simple fact that you create your life. And when you put things on hold for other people, or if you do things for other people, of course, there are times that you're going to have to do things for other people. But like when you specifically put your life and your dreams and your goals on hold for other people, it is so detrimental to yourself, to them, especially if you want to have a career someday. So, like, if you have a significant other or something, and you're like, please, please, please don't go away to college, please don't go away to college. Like, that person is not just thinking about themselves in that moment, they're thinking about the career that they could build and like the life that they could have for not only them but you as well. And I think, oh, God, it's one of the most regretful things for people when they decide to put things on hold like that. And I'm so glad that he went to school anyway, because I was just like, do not ask people to do that, to put their dreams on hold. Ugh, especially in the like you're looking for the long game. Like this is the long game we're playing. Ugh.
I love the fact that she actually, like, she really did try, but he was like, dude, I'm gonna be home on weekends and like I'm gonna come back to, make sure everything's fine and we're gonna hang out and still talk and blah blah blah. But what really killed me was the fact that she sat there and it was like, you abandoned me. Like, excuse
Oh my
me? Like,
god.
are you playing the
Oh my
damsel in
god.
distress or what? Like, give me a break. That shit pisses me
I
off.
know.
Like, I understand like wanting to have your partner there and being safe in their presence and, enjoying their company. I get all that. But people still have lives, and their lives can't 100% be on you. And it's just like one of those things, like how why would you do that? Why would, if you love that person, why would you ask them to do anything that wouldn't make them happy?
Yeah. Especially when it's setting them up for something.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're literally trying to do something great for both of you, not just one of you. Yeah, it might suck at the time, but at the same time, it's gonna be good in the long run. And she just couldn't see beyond that, and that just made me so mad.
And I feel like so many people do that. And here's the thing, you never get anywhere by playing it safe. You never get anywhere. You don't accomplish. Like, I mean, like, here's the thing. It's like, obviously, you could get a good job, you could, whatever. But like, if you don't take risks, you're not going to get the rewards.
Yeah. You can't just talk, you have to listen. That is the main problem with a lot of people nowadays, is especially when it comes to a big decision like this, they just want their opinions heard and nothing else matters, which is not how a relationship should work anyways. But if you're willing to do all that talking, you have to be willing to do some listening as well. And if you're not listening to what your partner is telling you or asking of you, then you're not really respecting them as a person. And that's an issue. That's the
Yeah.
biggest thing you need in a relationship, is respect for each other. If you don't respect each other, then what do you have?
Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of bits like that in the book. Like, there's a lot of relationship bits in the book.
Yeah, there is. There was a lot of references in the book.
So there are a ton of references in this book. So I I started counting, right? And I got up to 53 references in the first 118 pages. And that's like obviously give or take a couple. I was trying to be really good about writing everything down. And Neal Sellers packed so many references, literally everything from like People Express Airlines to like Winnie the Pooh, Caligula's in there, LL Cool J, like all of the, you know, Miss Jackie Brown herself is in there. Like, there's so many. He even like made a play on like Johnny Cochran's name, calling Winnie Janetta Cochran. And there's so I literally had to stop counting because I was like, I'm never going to be able to get through this book if I just stop every couple words to write down another reference. It is packed.
Yeah, there was a crap ton. I mean, Rachel was like, yeah, there was this. I was like, you forgot crisscross. Because
I
I made
did.
a
I don't
note
even
of
know how I did that.
it was funny because that was like the only one that I kind of like really noted, because of the fact of like every time I hear crisscross, I go wiggity wiggity whack in my head. Like that's just every time. Crisscross will make you want to jump. Nope, that's not what I hear. I hear wiggity wiggity whack. So that's a thing.
I'm dead. I'm dead. Yeah, there was even a Smurfs. There was a Smurf party. Hilarious.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so it definitely, I mean, he definitely does set the tone, with the references. And you know what's funny is a lot of people do, I know we've talked about this before, a lot of people don't like references in books like that because of the fact that like they don't like when you date a piece. And I'm like, date it. I want all of the references. There was another book that we read from Christopher Stanfield, The Bloody Rose, where he was talking about Scream, and it just puts you right into the scene.
Oh yeah, even Aaron Frail's book, all the 90s little
Oh,
paraphernalia that
yep.
was in, yep. So Hubert. Oh. Sorry.
Mm.
So yes, there was a lot of well-placed references. Like even some of the there was actually a couple that I was like, oh my God, I forgot about like this person or that group or whatever it may be. And it was a good like little reminder because I actually put a couple on my song lists. my my song list, my playlist. Oh Lord.
Playlist. And there were a couple of references that I picked up on that I didn't know about. So like there's one he referenced Michael Jordan and Jeff Van Gundy, which I don't follow basketball, but because of the reference, I popped my little head in there and went down to Google. But he actually did talk about it a little bit like he explained it a little bit in the book. And then other different other things.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I have to say a thing.
Okay.
So with this book, I literally had like an internal fight trying to read this because of the fact that it goes against everything I pretty much stand for as a person. And you're probably questioning yourself, like, what the fuck could she mean by that? Like, how is a book like going against everything? It's not even morally speaking or anything. It's the way that he speaks or writes. So I'm black.
You're what?
I'm just black. Okay. It's all the rage now, don't you know? We're black and we're proud. Anyways, so
I'm dead.
I was raised in a predominantly white community, and that meant that everybody that saw me expected me to look a certain way, act a certain way, talk a certain way. I have fought my entire life to not be seen as the typical ghetto person that reading this book, I struggled. I absolutely struggled because of the fact that he's literally talking as he doesn't have an education, in my opinion. I say that not to be disrespectful, but my father had always told me you don't talk like a black person or a white person, you talk like you're educated or you're not educated. So when I talk, I don't use slang. I don't tend to really, you know, embellish the way that some people do, which is fine. Like, to each their own. But for me to sit here and try to read this was so freaking hard. It literally, I'm trying to think of like a good example.
There's one quote that I wrote down where the guy says, "It may seem that I'm lost in the mustard, but I do catch up."
Oh my God, that was actually one of my favorite quotes.
I know, I loved it.
Oh, that one was good. There was also the "I'm not a dentist, so I'm not pulling any teeth." I love that. Like there was good moments. Oh, but your mama's so fine. Like I don't talk like that. I like there was worse parts. I just apparently can't find them now.
You were so frustrated you didn't want to write him down.
Honestly, I couldn't. I
I get it.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Oh, there we go.
Whoa,
I said y'all.
what happened?
Oh, Oh, the book corrupted me. I'm dead. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I I DNF this book. Um Now what I did, don't hate me for this. I got to a certain point that I couldn't read it anymore because of, like I said, I could not get through that. Um but I turned to the end of the book and I started reading the end of the book, and then I was just disturbed. And here's why. When I turned to the end of the book,
Are we doing spoilers?
oh, I'm spoiling this part.
Okay.
This one part is all I'm going to say. There was two men strapped to a bench, and a rat was put at their butthole. That is all I'm going to say.
Listen, just the fact that that's a sentence you've said in your life now.
I never have ever. I'm getting grossed out thinking about it, but it was very visual. I'm sorry that I didn't finish it, but I was disturbed, and I'm I'm sorry.
Well, your dad was very like, or he's a very proud man. So like he would never let you get away with talking slang because it was like, you know,
No, but he wanted me to talk like I had an education, and
yeah.
so I do. I literally talk, and I'm gonna say a thing. My name is Jennifer. I talk like I have an education. So when people see me, they don't assume I'm Jennifer. They don't
Mm.
assume that I am Black. They assume that I am a white woman that was raised decently, which is, you know, half of the case. Like, I'm half white.
I can't.
But at the same time, it's like that is our society today. They automatically assume that because they hear me on the phone, or maybe because they're hearing this podcast, that I may be a white woman because I sound educated. Now, if I started talking with slang, they would be like, oh, she's Black. And so that goes against everything that I stand for as a person, because I don't like the assumption that because I'm Black, I'm going to steal something. Because I'm Black, I'm going to talk like I don't have an education. Because I'm Black, I'm going to cause an issue or have an attitude. Yeah, I'm going to have an attitude, but that's not because of the color of my skin or my ethnicity. That is because of who I am. And this book, like I said, just kind of, it went down the hole that I could not go down because of the fact that I couldn't resonate with it. I I
Mhm.
don't like hearing people belittling me. I don't like reading slang. It's just not my thing. So I had a really tough time personally getting through this book.
Yeah, it's a really weird dynamic, like because um I mean, you've been my best friend for literally most of our lives,
Yeah.
but um it's not necessarily something that I've never been put in the position to have to worry about, for lack of a better way to explain it. Like, so for me, I was just reading a book that was from a person's point of view that was different from my own. But
Mm-hmm.
for you, it was reading something that you've literally been fighting your entire life.
Absolutely. Everybody expects to see a young Black woman and to hear, yo, what's up out of their mouth. And that's never going to be me. That might have been me like 13, 14 years old when I thought I knew everything and my dad was still trying to get me to see the way of the world. but that is not who I am and as an adult, and that is not who I want my child to be. And I constantly
Good luck with that one.
I know. I constantly correct my child when she goes, bro. Listen here, I'm not your bro. I'm not one of your little friends. Yeah, I go down that path. But it's like I'm fighting everything that makes people see us as stereotypical. And to read a book that is literally a stereotypical black writing, just it hurt my soul to read it.
Like, how would you feel about the take that this is written for a different time period? Because like in the 80s, 90s hip hop culture, it was more street, it was more um like urban,
No,
for lack of a
and
better term.
I totally get that, but at the same time, you got to remember that's when we grew up. Like, so
Mhm.
I was listening to Houdini and Crisscross and LL Cool J and Eminem, and just to bring it to the white side of things real quick. I mean, but at the same time, like I was listening to all these popular groups that he was actually referencing, and I I still actually listen to a lot of these things, but that doesn't mean that it would have been better during that time frame for me to read it. Because again, it's just something that I personally struggle with.
Mhm.
I don't know how to exactly answer that,
Yeah.
because there, even if it was a different time frame for me to read it, I think I would still have the same point of view. And
Right.
if I was to give this to my aunt to read, who was huge into that kind of uh music back then, and she actually is a professor of African American culture and history.
Hi,
And
Auntie.
it's like she has done all these things, and she goes to all these different cultural activities, and she's very she's a very diverse person. So she's been to all these different things for hip hop and jazz and uh just everything. Okay. If I put this book into her hands, I think she would be like, Jen, this just wasn't my style. Now, at my other aunt, that is a guidance counselor, and it deals with kids talking like this all day, every day. I think she would be able to read it, but I don't think she would be able to resonate with it either. It's just, I think it's going to be a fact of how you were raised, if you were able to read this or not.
Mhm.
I don't know if
Sure.
that will make sense to anybody else, but our family is very big in respect and talking proper, and my grandmother would have whooped some ass.
I want to see your grandma's face if she read the end.
Ooh, no. That, oh my god, my poor grandma would have had a heart attack. Now, I would love to get my dad's point of view of this book. That is the
Oh
one
my god,
time,
please have him read it.
but that is the one person I would be very interested to get his point of view of this book, because I love my dad. He literally will bop around listening to Houdini and Kool and the Gang, and oh, it's such a good time. It's such a good time. But uh, I would say he's approximately the same age as Neal Sellers, which is why I think he would be more beneficial to read this, or
Mhm.
getting his opinion would be more beneficial for this one.
Sure. Damn it, we should have had your dad on the podcast.
We should have. Sorry, Dad.
Sorry. So there is one part when Q is talking to Winnie, and he's talking about a heartache that he had. And he said she asks him if it hurts because of the because of the circumstances around what happened. And what he said was, he said, "Really, Winnie, I'm just a man who loved a woman and got hurt by a woman. It's as simple as that. The other dynamics, the optics, they don't hurt like that." And I loved that quote because it was literally just like, if you read the book, you'll understand what I mean. And Jen, I'm sure you understand what I mean. When she's asking him, like, the circumstances surrounding, like, does that hurt? Like, does that make it hurt worse? And he's literally like, you know what, dude? Like, I'm just heartbroken. And that's what hurts. Everything else doesn't matter. The circumstances don't matter. I'm just in pain right now.
Yeah. That's the one thing I can say is when Q was going through it, he was really going through it. And seeing his emotion was nice, especially with how he acts during a lot of the book. So I mean, it was nice to see a softer side to him, a kinder side.
Yeah, absolutely. And he really did. I mean, he was very, so Q is kind of like, he's like a ladies man. He's described as like a smooth talker, really good with the women. And so he has a lot of women. And so you see the different women in his life. And to me, like, I mean, especially the sisters, like, that's kind of scuzzy, but like, that's none of my business, you know? I really did like Winnie. I think Winnie was probably my favorite character.
Now, she was the best friend, right?
Yeah, and like, I like, she did play games, you know, she
Yeah.
did play games, and I totally get that.
She
But
she was snappy and well, fight not snappy, but she was feisty, and I like that.
hmm yeah, and I almost think that she was the one that was the most real with him.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of weird how there's always that one friend that's always like the true, like, gonna tell you the nitty gritty how it is. And she was
hmm
that person. Just like you're my person.
Oh, you're my person.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you think that you had a favorite character? I know you really struggled with this book.
I really did. I
I know.
tried so hard. I really did. I really didn't have a favorite character at all. Uh, I could probably say that Q was one of my least favorite.
hmm
I'm just gonna say it. Um, him
mm
and who was it? I think it was KP.
mm. Oh, gotcha, gotcha.
Okay. So she was just she was so whiny.
Yeah, I feel that.
I don't mind a whiny character, but when you play the victim and then you're whiny about it on top of that, that's what just write down. Nope.
So this book, so The Cackling of the Crows, was written by Neal Sellers. And he does have actually a really pretty website. I love the font that he used. He used the same font on on his book cover, and then on his website. But when
Honestly,
you
I've got to step in here for a second. I think the font is actually called like papyrus or something like that.
yeah, something, it's cool.
Yeah, and I it's like one of those Microsoft document ones that I just remember from back when I was doing the graphic designing.
Yeah, I really love it.
Yeah, it is nice.
So when you go onto his website, which is nealsellers.com, nealsellers.com, um, literally, as soon as you go onto the website, you see his book, and then you see the exact quote from the book where he talks about his style. And so I'm going to read it directly from the website so you can see what we mean. So it says, this style is identical to none. It reads like music. It's conversational, flowing with peaks and valleys, nonstop with awkward pauses. It's liquid. It's uninhibited. While it appears to be constrained in lieu of conventional grammar, this technique goes outside the box, beyond the pages of the book. The pages lead to a road that has no end, your mind. If you can allow yourself to not constrain yourself with traditional grammar's finite ellipses, and embrace new structure, new direction, with thoughts within the three dots that represent presence, wisdom, and direction, expressed or not, you might find your own creative road that will never end. Enjoy your journey. So, like, I do want to just say again, like, as much as like it pulled me out at times, it definitely was a creative choice. And I feel like if you've never read a book, kind of like it's one of those things where like when you read something from a different point of view or a different perspective or a different something different from the norm, even if it doesn't vibe with you, even if it doesn't resonate with you, it's still cool to see that way that it could be outside of the box.
I definitely appreciate his artistic take. Like, don't get me wrong, like just because I didn't enjoy the book and I couldn't resonate with it, and that's just me, but I do respect that he did take that chance. That is
Mm-hmm.
something that not a lot of people could do or would be willing to do.
So on his website, you can like from the front page, you join the mailing list. He has all of the links to all of his socials. There's even links to like his Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Kobo, all of those. Um, and you can buy it directly from his website. Also, so you can click on the little button and then there he has his bio, um, QTF TV. There's a shop where you can purchase his books, Cackling of the Crows, like the he's got the paper, you know, all of the things, audio. He also has he also has team t-shirts. So like, you know, Team Kai, Team KP, Team Winnie, Team Jinx, and Team Q t-shirts.
I'm glad
I
there's
love.
not a Team Carlos one.
Yeah, for real. I feel like there would not be a Team Carlos one.
I would hope not.
um the QTF TV is Q's thoughts from the vault. And then there's also a section where you can contact him. So Neal Sellers lives in Philadelphia, and he has been an attorney for the last 20 years. Um, and you can find him basically on all of the socials. All right, Jen, go ahead and tell everyone what we're reading next week.
That is a good question. We are reading A Mid-Flight Vampire's Tale by Linda Ling.
Yay!
Yes. I'm actually really excited about this. I think this was the one of the ones that I bugged you for before it even was actually submitted.
Yeah,
This
it
game.
was.
I okay. I thought so. So
I'm
yeah.
excited about this book because it's cool and like different. I am a sucker for like movies or books that are told from like one scene standpoint. And so from what I understand, this is a book where it's about two vampires who are on a plane and everything takes place in the plane, if I remember like if I understand correctly. And that is so cool to me because it's like there's a movie that that Tom Hardy was in where he played a character who was in a car, and it was literally the whole movie was this man in a car literally like having his life fall apart behind him or like around him, and like the only thing that you see like the whole thing happens in his car, and like it's just him. There's like no other actors, I don't think, or no there I think there are like a couple flashbacks, but it is insane. And then I think there was another one who did the movie where they were like in a coffin or they were like buried alive? Was it Matt Damon?
I don't remember that one. I remember, so there was a movie called Red Eye. Um, that it was
Yeah, that was
literally
on a
on a,
plane.
yeah, and the guy was like trying to kill her, and then she like stabbed him in the eye. Oh, gross.
Spoilers, I've never seen that movie. No, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say it's from
Uh,
2005. Where have you been almost 19 years later?
I didn't want to watch it. I wanted to watch it, but I didn't want to watch it.
Oh, it was actually pretty good. Like it was stupid, but it was good.
I mean, I heard that it was scary, and you know me with scary movies.
Yeah, I
Do
know.
you like
But
scary movies? No, I don't. Not really.
but it, Jennifer's body was scarier than Red Eye.
I've never
Okay.
watched I've never seen Jennifer's Body.
Oh, what was that one with Lindsay Lohan, the Blue Rose or something
I
like
know
that?
who killed me.
Yes, that one.
That one was good. I don't care what anyone says.
Bro, that was scarier than fucking Red Eye. I
Hmm.
I hated that movie. you
Apparently.
you made me watch it so many times. I'm like, oh, I really fucking don't like it.
What?
The I know who killed me.
I didn't make you watch it.
Yes, you did.
That was
Yes.
mom's favorite movie.
Oh God.
I made you
No.
watch Crybaby. You can't stick anything else. Crybaby and Phantom of the Opera. That was me. Everything else, not me.
Excuse me.
You heard me.
E- excuse me.
You
That
heard me.
that was it.
I
That's
think
all
so.
you're going with.
Probably.
Are you sure about that?
Well, not now.
Well, how about every freaking Johnny Depp movie?
We were too busy watching Crybaby.
Um, what was the one where he did cocaine?
That was Blow.
Okay.
Oh my God, can we have a Johnny Depp trivia? I'll win.
I know you'll win. Just like what is it? Secret Window.
Oh my God, Secret Window was good. I don't care what anyone says.
You
It
made
was
me watch these.
predictable.
You made me watch these. And I don't know if I'm better for it or not, but they're
I think
in
you are.
there.
I would like to think
Okay.
that everyone would be.
Okay. Not for Jennifer or not for I know who killed me. That nothing could make that. Nope. Mm-mm.
It was good.
It was not.
Yes, it was.
Ugh. I'd rather watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 2004
Oh,
edition,
is that the one with the one guy?
with the one guy. Yeah, sure. Uh-huh.
I was gonna describe him further, and then I decided not to.
Who was it? Like Jessica Biel, maybe?
I don't know. I don't like Jessica Biel. I'm so pretty. No one gives me any roles because I'm too pretty.
I don't know what that meant.
So it was a Jessica Biel controversy because she said that since she was so pretty, she was denied roles because she was too pretty.
Ah, oh, okay.
That's actually not why I don't like her because I'm sure that that is a thing.
Okay, it was Jessica Biel. Ooh, I'm good. And it was 2003 that that movie came out, not 2004. I was a year off.
The only thing I know about Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the fact that there was a guy in it who was also in the very first episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And in the very first episode of Buffy, he was killed and turned into a vampire.
Oh,
And
Eric Balfour.
sure, I don't know. I just thought he was cute. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's Eric Balfour.
All right, everyone. So if you like listening to our random ramblings, then go ahead and hit likes and subscribes on all of the things on the Facebook, on the Instagram, on the thread. We're actually so um
Popular.
popular. No, I was gonna say we're so busy on threads. That's not what I wanted to say, but I feel like that's gonna get the job done.
Okay.
Active. I meant active. We're very active on threads. So if you want to
We
talk
are.
to us, go ahead and just say hi on threads.
I mean, we'll answer you on the other things, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it's we're like Threads is just where it's at. It's
I'm
literally
obsessed.
the sanctuary for book people.
Mm-hmm. I'm just in love with it.
Ditto.
Ditto. All right, everyone. See you next Tuesday.
Cunt.
Nah.
Ah, we shall see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.